Hello, Ashley here. Welcome back to my channel. Y'all, I have been missing in action, but I have to tell you a lot. And I do mean a lot has been happening. I not only have an exciting announcement, but I also just feel the need to explain and kind of like let you in on why I have been missing in action. So let's just hop right into it. So first and foremost, I have a really exciting announcement. I am pregnant, y'all. Yay. Pregnant with my second. So for those of you who do not know, I already have a 2-year-old son named Caden. He's fantastic. He's a handful. He drives me mad.
Oh gosh. I'm just out of time.
2, 3. You sing it, boy. The time. But I've always wanted more than one baby. I've always wanted at least 2. And so we're pregnant and expecting another, and I'm so very excited. I cannot wait to add another kiddo to the mix. But that being said, y'all, I have been deathly ill. So I am not a stranger to morning sickness. I had morning sickness with my son, and you know, it was tough. There was a moment there where I was like, I remember telling my husband, like, please just push me down the stairs. Anything has got to be easier than this. But like, it was bad with him for a while. But this one has been extremely worse than my first pregnancy. So I started getting sick so early on, and that is exactly that's actually why I tested, because I felt off. Y'all know, if you've ever had a baby before, you'll know what I'm talking about, where you just feel like sick, like that. I don't even know, maybe even hangover could explain the level of sick that I started to feel. And I was so exhausted. I remember there was a night, maybe 2 nights before I tested, where it was like 10 o'clock and I felt like it was probably 3 in the morning. That's how my body felt. Like I needed to sleep immediately. And so I knew something was up. I had to test. So I found out maybe about 5.5 weeks, I was already sick as a dog. You know, my first appointment with my OBGYN isn't until, they don't usually want to see you till about 9 weeks. So I kind of just felt like I had to suffer through it. And it was more than just feeling ill and nauseous and food aversions, which were all there. And I was throwing up, but I also just felt physically weak. I couldn't get out of bed. All I wanted to do was lay around. And you know, I already have a toddler. So and I work full time. It's not an option to just not be present. My husband, thank goodness he stepped in. He was helping a lot, but even that was a lot on him. I wasn't doing well. My body just wasn't right. So I ended up having to call my doctor's office beforehand and ask if there was some medication I could get on, anti-nausea meds, whatever, because I couldn't make it. I couldn't even function at work. They ended up prescribing me some medication, and thank goodness that helped. I'm still, even now, and I'm heading into the 2nd trimester as of next week. I'll be 14 weeks, so that'll be the 2nd trimester. Even now, I'm sick most of the day. The nauseousness is always there, but at least I have some of my energy back. I'm not as weak as I was. I can actually physically get around and do things, and even though I'm nauseous, I still have the food aversions. I can function and I'm not throwing up. So thank God for modern medicine. I finally was able to get on something that helps me. Needless to say, for the past 3 months of this pregnancy, I have not felt like recording, creating any content. My mind hasn't even been there. I have been on survival mode, honestly, and how am I going to get through this, and just focusing on the day-to-day. So I haven't been focused really on my channel. But now that my energy levels have kind of gotten a little bit better, I feel better. I'm not as weak. I feel in a place to get back to it and create content and get some stuff out there. So that is first and foremost the announcement. I have a lot of exciting videos coming up about pregnancy in general, because that is what is going on in my life. So stay tuned for that content and those videos coming up. Secondly, another reason why it has been tough to create content is really because, so recently started strengthening my spiritual journey with Yah, or God, as most people know him to be, but I call him Yah. And I have been on a spiritual journey, y'all. I grew up in the church. me and my family went to church on Sundays. We were Baptist. I also went to my elementary and middle school were Catholic. So I also went to church regularly, often, like during the regular school day. So religion and those types of things have always been a part of my life. But if y'all know anything about like Baptist churches or even Catholic churches, like no one really encourages you, at least not in my churches and in my environment, ever encourages you to read the Bible. And so what ends up happening is, you'll learn about a verse here, a verse there. You may go through Genesis, whatever. And like any sermon, they just kind of skip around. So like you go to church this Sunday, you're in Psalms and they're preaching about Psalms. You go to church next Sunday, they're in Matthew, and then they're back in Genesis the following week. And so while you pick up bits and pieces of the Bible here and there, you don't get the full picture of like what the Bible's actually saying. And I don't even know why we as people don't do this, but we assume we know the word of Yah. We know what's going on religiously because we have had those bits and pieces. But like, at one point, have you ever looked at a book and read a sentence in this chapter, a sentence in that chapter, and actually understood the book, right? And so I've recently started reading the Bible like verbatim, word from beginning to end. And I'm starting to learn so very much. Taking me a while, obviously, as y'all know, I got a kid, I work full time. So it's taking me a minute to get through it. But you just start to understand Yah and what he actually wants from us rather than like what was kind of force fed to you. And I'm learning a different message than I was necessarily taught in church. But what that has kind of like brought up, I guess, is that point in the Bible where they start to talk about what's going to happen when Yah comes back for his chosen people. And, not to go into like huge detail, but I started to feel like him coming back for his people is actually going to be sooner rather than later. And it made me feel like, not that the world's going to end, because it's not, but like the world as we know it, how we function today, is not necessarily going to be how we function after he comes back for his chosen people. And so I started to feel like, what was the point of like growing this channel? What is the point of trying to excel at work? What was the point of doing any of these things? Even like home improvement. What's the point of like, fixing up my loft or doing my backyard if Yah's going to come back tomorrow for us and none of this, we're not even going to be in the same place. We're not going to be, the life in the world as we know it is not going to be here. Technology is not really necessarily going to be a thing. And so I started to have like this crisis of like, what does it matter? Why am I doing this? This is not necessarily what Yah would have us focusing on. He wants us to be focused on him. And so am I serving him by creating content and being on social media? Am I serving that purpose? And I really felt like at the time, no. I felt like I'm not. I felt like there was no point. And I started to get really down, and it made the day-to-day stuff kind of hard because you're like, well, I shouldn't be putting my effort into that. I shouldn't be putting my effort into this because it's not going to matter tomorrow. And I really had to work on how I was looking at it. I had to change my perspective of like, granted, some would argue that like talking about hair and talking about those things is not a hugely important topic, but I feel like helping women feel confident in the skin they're in and achieve their hair goals is important. I feel like I am helping some women achieve that goal and helping find ways for people to, take care of their hair in a good way. And I started to have to think about it a different way. I myself find huge value in watching other people's stories, in watching hair videos, in watching family videos, all of the things. I find immense value in tips for my life. And so what is not to have value in that? And I also had to start thinking of it of like, yes, Yah could come back tomorrow for his chosen people, right? He could. And maybe this would have all the work that I've put into it and all the effort I've put into it may not be something that matters in the long run. But I can't plan for that day. I have no idea when he's going to come back. I have no idea when the prophecies in the Bible are going to come true. And I'm doing myself a disservice by not necessarily living in today and doing as much as I possibly can to get myself further in life. Because who knows, maybe I'll need this channel, or I'll need, any income that comes from getting a promotion at work or whatever when the time comes. And so who is to say that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing? But that took a significant mind shift. It wasn't necessarily bringing me to a good place when my mindset was that way. And so I really had to think about and change the way I was thinking in order to feel motivated again to start creating content. The last and final reason why I've kind of been absent and MIA is, in general, content creation is not easy. As y'all know, my channel is based on beauty and hair and things of that nature. And that has been, so far with the videos that I've produced, that has been the topic. But I don't do my hair every day. For anyone who has watched my videos on this channel, y'all know I'm a big proponent of protective styling. My hair is often like put away, it is tucked away. I firmly believe on giving your hair breaks, and I believe that that aids in length retention. And so, you know, I'm not styling my hair every day to bring you all the type of content I felt like would be valuable to the hair community. You know, when I watch other YouTubers that do hair, they are constantly doing new styles. They are constantly using new products and showing new ways of doing things, which is great. I've learned so much from them over the years, but that is just not the season that I am in. You know, I don't do my hair every day. And so creating content was hard because I had to either prioritize getting out content or prioritize the health of my hair and knowing what works for my hair. And so I realized that I kind of have to branch out of doing that content every day or for every video. And that doesn't mean, like, for those of you who follow me now for hair, that I won't be doing any hair videos. That it couldn't be further from the truth. I absolutely will be doing hair videos. I still love doing my hair. I love styling my hair. I love giving you all tips on hair. But it also means that I kind of have to branch out and do other topics outside of hair, because I just don't do my hair that much to sustain posting once a week or, you know, like a schedule like that. And so I had to kind of get out of the mindset of like the niche aspect. It used to be very popular to niche down. Like if your channel was about hair, you do hair videos. If your channel is about cooking, all you do is cooking videos. And so, you know, it's very easy to say that niching down, and don't get me wrong, it is a successful way of building a channel. But my channel can't be just about that, because I just don't do my hair every single day or every single week. And so anyway, I had to get out of the mindset that I had to be one-dimensional, that that's all I could post about. And so honestly, being pregnant and this upcoming pregnancy gives me a lot of content, because right now that is what's heavily on my mind. And so kind of bringing you content about that perspective in addition to the hair videos that I do, I think is really what's going to help me kind of keep that motivation going and also bring you all new content. So I just wanted to level with you all and be honest with you about why I've been absent. And please, if any of these topics that I just kind of talked about and covered are interesting to you, please post in the comments some topics you'd like me all to cover. I do have a few things that are in the pipeline, but would love to hear from all of you about things that you all want to hear about as I move into this next chapter. So anyway, as always, I do appreciate you all tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.